4 p.m. Board to order. We'll start with roll call.
Yes.
Here.
Yes. Moving on to the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
and the approval of the agenda.
Move to approve.
Second.
All right, any discussion on the agenda? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Moving on to the consent calendar, notice to the public, all matters listed are considered routine by the board and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless good cause is shown prior to the time the board votes on the motion to be adopted by roll call.
Move to approve. Roll call. Forgot. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, we
We have to, yeah, we have to move to approve the consent calendar.
Move to approve the consent calendar.
Second.
Any discussion on the consent calendar? All right, please call the roll. You can call the roll.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. All righty. Straight to 8A in new business, the ski loons discussion and public hearing. Mr. Director Dean.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the item here is a kind of a continuation of the information gathering the park board's undertaken over the last few months. This is a continuation of the information that was provided by the work group after meeting with Sheriff's Deputy Thiesing as well as City Attorney Langle regarding operations on the lake and what our liabilities and responsibilities are as a park board. At that meeting, the park board elected to go ahead and move forward with requesting a presentation from the Brainerd Ski Loons on potential facets of an agreement, as well as holding a public hearing, really to hear a lot of comments and suggestions from lake area owners, what the facility or the facets and considerations for a potential future agreement could be. As the park board continues to gather more information. So I believe Chris Denz is here today to present to the park board regarding some of the facets of what they have as a proposed potential agreement. And with that, I'll turn it over to Chris Denz.
Well, I know I might not look like Chris Denz, but Chris has asked a few of us to take a more active role with regard to the ski loons, administration, advisement, things like that. So I'm going to start, and then we're going to get into a couple different areas, including talking about the proposed contract. Just to give you a little bit of an overview. My name is Andy Rangan. I'm a newer member, and my family's a newer member of the ski loons. We've very much enjoyed our time, and I did prepare something so that I would stay on task and not ramble on. But just so you know, our goal today is to keep it brief within our side of things, and just from like a formal side of things, and allow the time for anything else that we might want to talk about. So thank you again for allowing us the opportunity to speak with you today. Hey, I already said we're going to keep it brief. Good for me. As representatives of the Brainerd Ski Loons, we come before you today not only as enthusiasts of water sports and community engagement, but also as partners committed to addressing and overcoming past challenges. As you can see, there are some new faces here representing the Ski Loons. As the Ski Loons have grown as an organization in popularity and participation, some of the issues of the past came as a result of that growth. We're committed to learning from our mistakes, growing in wisdom, and putting our best foot forward. Our presentation today is more than a proposal for a long-term partnership with the City of Brainerd. It's a testament to our dedication to progress, understanding, and mutual respect. We are here to share a vision that not only celebrates our passion for show skiing, but also acknowledges the importance of open dialogue, community feedback, and sustainable coexistence with our neighbors and the environment. The contract that we propose today is a concept based on structures that many other show teams use with their local partners. It is intended to help alleviate some of the past challenges with a clearer framework of process, communication, and expectations. I also want to be very clear that this plan will include Ski Loons support for reduced practice days. That's been something that's been talked about quite often. I also want to briefly discuss why Lum Park. As it pertains to holding both practices and shows, Lum Park is the optimal location for the Brainerd Ski Loons. For the shows due to its excellent visibility, central location, and community-centric facilities. Its waterfront settings ensures every performance is highlighted by Brainerd's scenic beauty, making it accessible and enjoyable for all. Lum Park's capacity to comfortably accommodate large crowds, combined with its proximity to the community, makes it not just a venue, but a gathering place that fosters unity and engagement. Practicing at the same location is very critical for execution of the shows. Timing, locations, boat patterns, etc. are as important as the skills themselves for practicing the execution. We recognize that we can find other options for practicing skill development on non-show practice days, and we will work out that plan and schedule with the Parks Board. I'm going to hand it off here to Jill.
My name's Jill Newman. I'm very proud to be a Brainerd Ski Loon. This will be my 9th year as a member, as a parent, and I'm a member of the boat and logistics team, so I kind of help with safety during the shows. That's something I like to do. I just plan to briefly share some of the benefits of ski loons. I know it can be repetitive, but good things bear repeating, so you get to hear some of it again, hopefully. Ski loons, specific to ski loons, some of the generations is we're multi-generational. We have children that are just able to walk that are involved, and we have people who are retired. And they're doing every skill, every volunteer role you can think of. We have highly skilled boat drivers. You wouldn't believe our boat drivers and what they can do. We all take annual training for safety. We take it very seriously, and I'm constantly impressed with the skill and the generosity of our members. Building skills like any sport, we do that, but the difference is we're more like a family. In fact, we have many sets of families within our group. We share values like a family with caring and respect, learning, and growth mindsets. And there's opportunities for learning for all ages within our group and for leadership. We're a hotbed of, and I'm not kidding, a hotbed of absolute talent for showmanship and skill, from the boat drivers to the pyramid skiers, the swivel skiers, the jumpers, and our team represents a blank canvas of opportunity for people to develop themselves. Now, for the greater community, we're a positive influence. I think for Brainerd and for Lum Park, we're enthusiastic about building a shared vision for the future with the neighbors, with the city. We want to be good partners. We want to be good neighbors. We have a network of links within the greater community and nearly all of the service organizations. And we really hope to create ripples of positivity within the community. Tourism, we're a draw. We're great for everybody, including local businesses. We use local resources for our needs, from equipment, repair, fuel, our talent, printing, everything that we need, we get here. We represent a cross-section of Brainerd in who we are and in what we do. We're financially self-sufficient. We ask for nothing financially from the city. We're a nonprofit. Our mission is to create opportunities through water sports. We're a group that strives to give more and take less. We have partnerships in many directions within our team. Other ski teams, statewide, nationwide, other water sports enthusiasts and performers, hosts of local sponsors and supporters, countless volunteers, doing things like teaching Learn to Ski, repairing boats, mowing grass weekly at the Palmer Building, picking up broken glass from the bottom of the lake. We do that all the time. We're constantly cleaning up and making it a better place. We truly are out there quietly doing beneficial things. In conclusion, I'd like to invite you all to come to a show or practice and see for yourself the good things that are being done. And I'm happy to invite members Grace, Natalie, and Reef to come up, share their own personal thoughts that they wrote themselves.
Hello, everyone. My name is Reef Sampson. I am an 8th grader from St. Francis School in Brainerd, and I have been a member on the Ski Loons for the past 3 years now. The Brainerd Ski Loons is a great asset to our community. It allows children and adults that do not have access to lakes, boats, and equipment to participate and enjoy the wonderful world of water skiing. Ski Loons has unfortunately encountered a minority of individuals who have a negative viewpoint of our goals and values. The Ski Loons has taught me a lot of skills, but one thing it has taught me most is teamwork. It has taught me to be a part of a team. They teach me a lot of skills on the water and in life. I think this is a great organization. I would love for it to keep going within our community many years to come. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Grace Reagan. I've been a part of Ski Loons for 2 years, going on 3. Ski Loons means a lot to me and my family. Members of my family have been a part of Ski Loons since the beginning, and every year a good-sized portion of my family comes from many parts of Minnesota and some even from Colorado just to come watch the Brainerd Ski Loons perform and put on such amazing productions. I find Ski Loons to be a fun organization to be a part of. All of the members are like a big family, and I always look forward to going to ski practice and seeing my friends. The members' determination and passion continues to keep me going and having fun. I have been a part of other teams and clubs, but Ski Loons is truly unique because it includes people of all ages, not just kids our age. We learn from the older kids, and they are wonderful role models. Water skiing is a fun summer sport. Ski Loons helps kids and adults of all ages engage in something everyone can enjoy. We strive to help anyone willing to learn, no matter your ability and skill level. I think I can speak for most everyone on behalf of Ski Loons and say we all do this to have fun and enjoy our summer with others. It doesn't matter what we are doing, large shows, travel shows, practice, parties, get-togethers, everyone has fun and participates. I love how Ski Loons lets me try new things I never in a million years thought I would ever do. As a younger member of Ski Loons, I appreciate how the older, more experienced skiers treat me. I will come in from a pole and they will congratulate me and give me tips on how to do it better next time. If I were to fall, they were to pick me back up and give me a pep talk. Then I would go out and do it better again next time. As I become an older, more experienced skier, I enjoy Ski Loons lots more because I get to watch younger kids grow, improve, and enjoy the sport. I find that being present to help the younger kids will affect the team for the better in the long run because they are the future for our world and Brainerd Ski Loons. Ski Loons also brings kids from a variety of schools around the area, so I always find it fun to meet new people I normally wouldn't encounter. Every year, I make new friends during Ski Loons, as well as looking forward to seeing old friends. I have also had many friends join Ski Loons this past year just because I did it and had lots of fun. Brainerd Ski Loons has helped me build character and confidence while having fun. Ski Loons has made a name for itself in the community, and last summer we had over 1,800 people show up to support us and watch our shows. As a member, when I am out in the community representing Brainerd Ski Loons wearing Ski Loons logoed clothing, people say, "Are you a part of Ski Loons?" And I say yes, and they always go on about how they have been to shows and it is so cool and that they love enjoy spectating. I take a lot of pride in being part of Ski Loons and representing our community. Members of the team come from all walks of life, and it is a very unique opportunity to meet new people, something bigger than ourselves. A few people that are a part of Ski Loons have been a part of other show teams and always come to Ski Loons and never want to leave because the community is amazing, and we even have a few skiers that drive over an hour to come be a part of Ski Loons. I love Ski Loons, and I'm very proud to be part of such a wonderful group. Thank you for your time. On behalf of Brainerd Ski Loons, sincerely, Grace Reagan.
Hello, my name is Natalie Luneman. I'm a 4th grader from Lowell Elementary School in Brainerd. I've been a member of Ski Loons for 1 year, and it has brought a lot of joy to not only mine, but many other people's summers too. Ski Loons also allows children to have fun and socialize and spend time with friends. Ski Loons has also taught not only me and many others tricks and skills that not a lot of people can do at such a young age. Ski Loons also allows kids who aren't as fortunate to be able to water ski and be out on the water. So what I'm trying to say is that Ski Loons has brought many people, including me, fun, skills, and joy, and much more. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name's Matt Holmstrom. I'm not sure I could have done this when I was a 4th grader, but I'll do my best today. So, I'm my daughter Meredith and I, who Meredith's in the back of the room, we're excited to go into our 3rd year as members of the Ski Loons. And today, as Andy had mentioned, and I'm going to try not to repeat myself here, but just wanted to come up here. We're excited for the opportunity to have presented our contract to the board and to the public. We're excited for feedback from that draft proposal. I just wanted to highlight a few of the things that are in that document. I know Board Chair Miller had put a few key points in some of his communication regarding some of the things that he would be looking for, the possible considerations. So the first thing, and I'm going to bounce around a little bit, I'm not going to read it for everybody because I'm sure everybody's already reviewed it, but I'd like to just focus on Section 4 a little bit. 4A, I think, as Andy mentioned, we do understand that and are looking for to find some compromise here within this new agreement and how we can move forward and continue to provide these services for this benefit for the community, but also be respectful of those that it's impacting most. So Section 4A does talk about reduced practice days. We drafted that after careful consideration to go from 4 days down to 3 days, with through the parameters of Monday through Thursday. Section 4A also talks a little bit about some flex days. And I think that goes to one of the other points about, maybe the driver certifications and the safety training. That would be kind of in place for those particular needs. As Jill had mentioned, safety is a big part of this organization. It's governed by USA Water Ski. As members, we're all required to carry insurance through USA Water Ski. That is part of our, we have to pay for that, and each member pays for that. So they do govern our safe practices, and so the boat driver certifications and such. So Section 4A, I believe, is a good compromise to what we had in the past with 4 days. And then regarding the shows, our proposed agreement has got 4 shows as it has in the past. It talks about having those shows determined well in advance of the summer season. I believe it states May 1st in the agreement. I think that's 4 shows seems to be a good number of shows. It gives time. I think Andy had mentioned how the shows and the practices really do need to link together at a facility just because of the practice and the logistics. It does make it flow better. So I think a couple of the other points that aren't specifically addressed in the agreement, but I think are worth bringing up today are the distance from the shore. I think being a newer member, I don't have all of the experience that Jill does, but being nine years on the team. But I believe the buoys that were placed by the Sheriff's Department last year, I think, set a good boundary for both the ski loons and the neighbors and such. And I would propose that would be the best practice for moving forward. So the agreement also goes on to address some penalties and such if the agreement was breached in any way by the ski loons, and I believe that there's some parameters in there about first and second offenses and such, and believe that's also good for this agreement moving forward, versus just an immediate termination. So and I covered boater safety. I believe that's like I said. So happy to sit back down and hear some feedback from the board and the audience, and so just excited for the opportunity and appreciate your time today.
All right. Well, I promised we wouldn't take the 40 minutes and so I'm the end of this. The important thing as we talk about this, we extend our deepest gratitude to the city and to the Parks Board, city officials, and all community stakeholders for your attention, engagement, and the opportunity to share our vision today. Our journey thus far, marked by both achievements and learning moments, has prepared us for a future where collaboration, communication, and community spirit are at the heart of everything that we do. To respect everyone's time, as I mentioned, we've asked our members not to participate in the public forum. I feel as though we felt as though probably can predict what they're going to say, and therefore, that repetition wouldn't be necessary. Unless they live on the lake themselves, then perhaps they would speak as that role. But otherwise, we've asked that, so I wanted to make that clear, that they're here, but they're just here to show silent support. As we look towards the promising horizon, we're inspired by the potential of a long-term partnership with the city of Brainerd. Together, we have the power to transcend past challenges and build a legacy of inclusivity, joy, and recreational excellence that will resonate for generations to come. We are committed to moving forward with transparency, respect, and an unwavering dedication to our community's well-being. We hope to build this opportunity to unite our strengths, address our challenges, and chart a course toward a future where every resident and visitor can experience the joy, connection, and vitality that our beautiful city and its waterways have to offer. Thank you once again for considering our proposal. We look forward to the next steps.
Thank you. All right. So with that, we will move on to the public hearing portion of this. Of course, the goal of the public hearing from the get-go is for constructive feedback on a potential contract with the loons. We've had a lot of passionate remarks from a lot of folks over the course of the weekend, and we want to, obviously very appreciate all the passion. A lot of folks here really appreciate it, but we want to make sure, just given that we do have a hard cutoff because it is caucus day, so this meeting has to end by 6 p.m. today. So regardless of what was posted, we're going to give everybody about 2-ish minutes just so we can make sure everybody gets an opportunity to speak. But again, we really want people to focus on inclusion on the contract, try to keep the anecdotes and things like that relative to what you'd like to see inside of that contract, given what we've kind of seen from the Loons presentation. And I do want to reiterate that no decision is going to be made on the contract today. We're just looking for information and feedback from the public. There will be no yes or no at the end of all of this. So we're going to form 2 lines, and we're just going to go one after another so folks can line up, come up, state your full name, your address, give us your thoughts and ideas, and we want people to be respectful in the audience, so we don't want to hear any booing or any clapping or anything like that. Respect people's time at the microphone, and let's get some feedback from folks. Yeah, we can just kind of, got 2 microphones, so just kind of line up, and we'll just go one after another. We'll start with you.
So I'm Matthew Singh, 1101 Lakeview Lane. I have the unique opportunity to live on the lake, be part of the Lake Association, and be a ski loon. I spent an hour last night talking to Wayne about the ski loons and prospects for the ski loons. I don't know where the communication broke down, but apparently it did at some point. I do think there's a way forward for the ski loons with the neighbors if people have open minds. And, I think we can sit down and make it work for both parties. I don't know that everybody's going to be happy with I don't think either party is going to be happy regardless. But I think there is a way forward. The residents on the lake want to have peace, and ski loons do too. And I think that's the ultimate goal. People want to have fun. People want to recreate. There's many other programs on the lake, and I think people should take that into consideration. That maybe the communication hasn't been there. Maybe there's certain things that have been annoyances or not respected for either party. However, I do think people can come together and make it work. You're going to hear many people talk about lakeshore things and all of those things. You can debate those things for either way. You can debate the use of the lake either way. So, I think moving forward, I would ask the residents of the lake, I would ask the ski loons, and I would ask the park board, keep an open mind. And I think there's a way forward that works for all parties involved. Thank you.
From this side, we'll just bing, bing, bing.
Thank you. My name is Jim Sarkalotti. I live at 813 Lakeview Lane North. I do live on the lake, and I've enjoyed the loons a lot. I've been up here since I moved up here from Rogers in 2017, and my wife and I absolutely love it. I've always been on the water most of my life. I'm 80 years old, and I've saw erosion at its worst and very little at its least. What I've done, I'd like to see the loons stay where they're at. And what I've done as far as erosion, I live more up towards the Mississippi. I have stopped erosion on my property. It was really bad when I bought the place, and it was very simple. I used stuff off the Mississippi River that comes by my cabin, logs and so on, and enforced it plus some other means. And my erosion stopped. I have a lot of boat traffic where I live, and I see very little of that. But something caused the erosion. I don't know if it was the Mississippi or boats or whatever, but I stopped it at a very small minimum cost. So I'd like to see them stay, and the lake owners around there can contact me, and I'll show them how to curb the erosion from anything, the Mississippi River to boats. Thanks.
For your time.
Hello, I'm Tad Shupner. I live at 14785 Wonderland Park Road. I actually share a fence line with the park. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I think there's a lot of propaganda that's been spread around saying that people want the ski loons to be done, and that's just simply not true. I feel what they wanted to do is just abide by the terms of the contract, and there's been ongoing breaking of these terms consistently, which has kind of brought us to where we are here. So when all I see the social media stuff that the Parks Board wants to cancel the ski loons, it's just not simply true. We feel it's a great I feel it's a great thing for the kids in the community and stuff like that. Obviously, it's really grown in size. Unfortunately, I think it's outgrown Rice Lake. To have 3 multiple high-speed boats going back and forth 5 hours a day, pulling a multitude of kids, the lake's just too small. They talked about shoreline. I've been trying to partner with Crow Wing County. I have a lot of damage on my shoreline. And to the number of over $6,000, I've been trying to partner with Crow Wing County to stay under the state of Minnesota to keep the natural shoreline. And upon when the consultation came out, they said because of the wake coming in, because of the ski loons waves, that the vegetation probably wouldn't be able to root and grow, and I wouldn't be able to keep it, or I would have to constantly be redoing it. Lastly, I believe the community should have serious concerns about the ski ramp being left out there. I mean, quite honestly, that's my favorite part of the show is watching them ramp, but there's been multiple occasions throughout the summer where myself or my wife have to go rescue kids who've swam out to the ramp and cannot swim back. And we've actually seen kids struggling where we've grabbed our paddleboards and kayaks and gone out there and saved kids who were struggling trying to get through the weeds. So if it's part of the contract, I would like to see that. If you do move forward with the contract at Lem Park, I'd love to see that ramp come in when they're not being used. Because I couldn't imagine what happened if we weren't there to save some of those kids coming in. And I'm surprised something hasn't happened already. Just to wrap things up, I think the opportunity for kids is great. I just feel the ski loons have simply outgrown the lake with their size. If you do move forward, I would love to see it very severely limited, maybe 1 day of practice off the lake by 5 o'clock. And I think most people are in agreement that the shows can stay there. It's just the practice, the consistent 20 hours, 5 hours a day back and forth is just too much for that lake. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Cindy Gibbs, a resident of Rice Lake, 1410 14th Avenue Northeast. I've been a resident for 19 years on the lake. That's 10 years prior before the ski loons started their shows and practices. I would like to clear up a few misconceptions to the public that they might have before I give any of my feedback as you instructed. For 9 years, the ski loons have conducted themselves on the lake for approximately 36 shows. I and my family members have enjoyed these shows immensely. At no time have I not agreed that the program serves the community in respect to the shows. We enjoy them. What many may not know and understand about the issues are not what the ski loons represent, but more so how they conduct themselves during the 4 hours each of the days of practice each week. Now, as far as for my feedback you requested, I ask that there be no practice days on Rice Lake except for 1 hour prior to the start time of the 4 days of each of the shows at Lum Park, with the agreement to always use the middle of the lake during that hour of practice. They would be required to conduct their routine conduct their routines during the show no less than 250 feet from the shoreline of residence, private property. I would also ask that the Sheriff's Department to agree to place marker buoys to ensure the visual aid of the drivers and property owners in the area that the show routines are conducted. For the penalties, the loss of one show practice privilege or 1 week of practices should the contract agree to any days for the first violation. The loss of the second and third show practice privilege with 2 weeks of practice should the contract be agreed to any days, and for the second violation. If a third violation should occur, the contract would be terminated immediately. These penalties would be imposed if the terms of any part of the contract were reported to the Sheriff's Department, any members of the Park Board, and the Brainerd Police Department. All reports are to be considered important and not considered frivolous at any time. All water safety laws must be followed, including Minnesota Administrative Rules 6110-2100, Subdivision 2, Letter A, reads as, "No person shall operate a watercraft in such a manner that its wash or wake will endanger, harass, or interfere with any persons or property." Residents considered to be affected by any activities of the ski loons should have the opportunity to meet as a group of individuals with the ski loons upper management people to come to some form of agreement. I would also ask that only 1-year contract for each year be agreed upon by the city. Thank you. I'm going to give you this.
Yeah, you bet you. Thanks so much.
Good afternoon. We came up together to save a little time. I'm Adam Seamers. We live on the lake, 11385 Easy Street.
And I'm Liz Seamers.
So we wanted to say we are proponents of the ski loons and staying at Rice Lake. We 100% understand the concerns. We certainly enjoy the shows. We enjoy watching practices. We go out there all the time. We understand the concerns. We do want to follow the rules. We want to keep away from the shores. We understand that, but there's like everybody has to understand that there is you to start from the dock and you take off from the dock. That's what makes the show. You start from the dock and you come back to the dock. That's what makes the show. We understand during practices coming straight out, going to the middle lake. That's great. But at some point you do have to practice that, and any wake. Just coming back from what she said, which is a great feedback. But any wake will cause and harass and do anything to anybody. So you can little fishing boat going by, you could put it under that rule. So I understand they're bigger, they're stronger, they're things like that. But again, we agree. We do want to see them continue. So again, with the contract, spreading out throughout the lake's a great idea. 3-day practice is a great idea. One of our concerns is that outgrowing Lum Park and Rice Lake, I don't agree because I think if we have to go and we have to put our kids in to Gull Lake now, and with 2,000 other boats going around, I think the safety levels go way down. So that's one of my big concerns.
And to be very honest, usually when we're out on the lake with our two boys, the only traffic that we see, or most of it, it's so minimal out there, and it's a peaceful lake. And so even having the ski loons there and looking at like the flip side of it, of like it's an enjoyment instead of like it's always a hindrance. And it's not like our lake, just like he said, is so busy that it's dangerous. I can understand and see where some places are more dangerous around Rice Lake, and especially the people that are right next to Lum Park is what I meant. But when it comes down to the safety and keeping it somewhere small enough, and Rice Lake is big enough where it's not overcrowded. There is plenty of space for everybody to enjoy the lake still.
Yeah, and we always see they take off and they go all the way upriver, and they do that. But when they're doing their pyramids and stuff, they start from the dock, and so that has to happen no matter what. So that's our 2 cents about it, and we've been 2 minutes. Thank you.
For your time.
Good afternoon. I'm Ginger Kopp, 1119 15th Avenue Northeast. That puts me right across from the Lum Park boat ramp. So if there's going to be any erosion, I have already experienced it. We have speedboats, we have ski boats, wakeboards, wave runners, ski-doos, all kinds of powerful craft that make waves. Prove to me that only the ski loon boats cause shoreline erosion. It's all the boats out there. This is an anecdote. I have heard from both proponents and those against the ski loons about people being rude. There's no excuse for that. However, what I saw this year from day one, when the big rafts were set out, they were set in the path of the ski loons from day one. How did that not create an adverse situation right away? Thank you.
Thank you very much for having us all here. My name is Cheryl Mattis. I live on 923 Lakeview Lane, right on Rice Lake. On one side of the street is Memorial Park, and then probably straight across from us is the island. So we're kind of midway between the river and the landing. My husband and I, we've been there about 6 years, but our house is 32 years old. So through the 32 years, the loons haven't been there, so the evasion on the shoreline has been probably maybe every 6 to 10 years, upgraded depending on what resident has lived there. So in the 6 years we've been there, we did dress it up with a little more rock and some perennials. We live on the river, there's a constant current. We have enjoyed all the recreation on the lake and what the park board has to offer. From the bass boats going back and forth for their competition, it's even enjoyable to watch them and count them as they go out and count them as they come in. We've got the jet skis, we've got people fishing, the swimmers, the park activities, the frisbee golf and the camping and the picnics. It's all been just so enjoyable. Our family and our guests that we have on a regular basis through the season and the grandkids, we've always marked our calendar when the ski loons were going to be entertaining. I feel that the ski loons offer a safe family environment, a clean entertainment, and it is another added interest to our community. I'm here in hopes that there will be a compromise and that's addressed concerning the loons, in hopes to make, of course, a win-win. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me. My name is Phil Philbin. I live at 1415 O Street Northeast. We're on the southwest side of the lake. And as you're all aware of the shape of the lake from the boat ramps going out this way, we're approximately here. My family and I moved here in 18. We were fortunate enough to find this beautiful house and move in. I have 2 daughters, 6 and 7, who love the lake, love the loons, watch you guys all the time. Our issue has become practices. We love to watch the shows. We understand they have to practice to do that. There are certain patterns in which they have to go out and come back depending on the tricks and the things that they're doing. And the ski level of the ones that are doing the shows and the ones that are just learning. However, they pass too close to the shoreline. 25 feet off the end of our dock. I've got pictures, I've got everything. My deal, why, and this has been going on since 20 maybe, this issue with the loons and to date, I have not had a phone call, a knock on the door, somebody passing by saying, hey, I'm a ski loon, can we talk? We need to sit down with those folks that are affected. It's not a park board issue. It's not a DNR issue. It's not a sheriff's issue. It's a people issue. Spent a long time in business. I made sure my customers were happy. If I had an unhappy customer, I made sure I got my butt out there to find out what the issue was and how I could possibly resolve that issue without it costing me too much money. Customer's king. Therefore, I would request, if I could have a little indulgence, I'd like to ask the room, I'd like a show of hands. How many people live here on Rice Lake? On Rice Lake?
That's, yeah, I'll have you just address the board.
Sorry, I was making a point. Those folks need to sit down in a room, in a restaurant, in a bar, whatever, with those people from the ski loons, Mr. Dent's, his representation, his boat managers, whatever, so that we can figure this out and we can all enjoy and love the lake and the park. Now, we understand the city's putting money in to expand the campgrounds, the kiosk with the kayaks and all of that. That's wonderful. We love to see the growth. We love that's one of the reasons we moved there. The house, I can hit a golf ball to the park. But the practices with the boats passing so close to our shoreline, we need to work that out. And we'd love to sit down with them and talk. Thank you very much.
Good evening. Name's Tony Grant. My wife and I, Carrie Grant, we own the Triangle Ice Cream over on Mill Avenue. We live just north of Brainerd off of Executive Acres Road. Personally, I didn't have time, didn't know where to research what the conflict was prior to listening. What I found or heard is about 5 hours a day practice, 5 days a week. Correct me if I'm wrong. Could it go to 3 days a week, 3 to 4 hours of practice? I'll tell you, as a business owner, and we notice those 4 days when they come in, or when the shows happen, before the shows happen, and then after the shows happen, we get just an influx of people. It's a blessing to be a part of the community, and it's a blessing for us when those happen. When we know those 4 days happen, or are going to happen, those 4 shows, we actually ramp up more employees, so we're able to pay the youth that work for us, and more as well. So I know it does affect. I know Casey's, I've heard about parking issues down in front of Casey's and people parking at Casey's. The amount of business that comes through there for the couple hours, I would say as a business owner, be thankful that the business is there. The erosion issue, I don't know if there's a way that the city could hand or work with as like a co-op with the current owners of the houses on the lake, if they could do riprap or something. I know that only raises taxes, I get that. It's what makes this community a great, huge city-minded community with a very small living. It's great. So I thank you for your time, appreciate it, have a great night.
Hello, my name is Rick Block. I live at 11514 State Highway 210, right on Rice Lake, coming off the highway. You've heard enough about the lake, problems, pro and con. My only question is, are you allowed to drive through the park to get down to the lake?
I think the generic policy here is that we don't want vehicles on park property, just in
Okay.
general, without event
That's the only
permits.
question I
Yep.
got, because ski loons do it every time. And if they can do it, then other people start driving down to the lake to take canoes, kayaks, whatever down. That's it.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kevin Thiesing. I've been a business owner here in Brainerd for over 35 years. 1223 Oak Street is where my business is. My business has given me the opportunity to be involved in supportive of organizations that make our community unique and special. I've been in a lot of meetings where these ideas for events and projects were born. This has been a privilege that I take very seriously. It also means that I try hard to keep a pulse on what our community is saying about what happens here. And I listen to my business colleagues, I listen to service organizations and meetings, and I listen to coffee groups and visits. What I have heard and what I know is that this community is proud of and supportive of the Brainerd Ski Loons. The Brainerd Ski Loons program is a class act organized and run by a group of amazing people. I think it's important as we talk about the contract and we're talking about penalties that are built into the contract. I've worked with a lot of volunteers and people who start up organizations. It's also important to build in a thank you. People who give of their time and their talent and their resource to make this community special and to make it what it is deserve a pat on the back from all of us. They deserve a thank you from all of us. Any project or event that I've ever been involved with has always had challenges to work through. Obviously, the same opportunities before you today. The important thing to remember is that many of the things we enjoy today that define what our community is, or part of what our community is, exist because people like you and people like the audience took the time to do what you're doing today. Thank you for your time.
Clear down on the right here. Anybody left on the left here?
Hi, my name is Maddie Miller. I'm a Brainerd High School student, and I'm a member of the Ski Loons. I just have something to say that I feel like I wanted to say, but the Brainerd Ski Loons is my family. And every summer that I go there, I'm going on my 4th year, and I've never felt more welcome, and the friends that I've made, they're all different ages, but we're just a great family, and I love it so much, and I don't know what I would do without it. We practice 3 days, 2 to 3 days a week, 2 hours, and it's like the best 2 hours of my summer each day that we go there. The Tuesdays that we go out the long way, so we go into like the middle of the lake and do our little loop there, and so we stay in the middle, and I think the lady that came up here earlier said that she thought that was a problem, that like to stay in the middle, so we do go out there, and we do stay outside of the buoys, and I agree with all of that and everything. And I'm excited to see where this contract goes, and hopefully it goes okay. But yeah, I just want to say that they're like family to me, and I love every one of them, and yeah, I feel welcome and very proud to be a member of the Ski Loons. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks so much.
Wayne Harding, 14813 Wonderland Park Road. You know what I didn't hear? I didn't hear an apology for the Saturday practice at the end of the year. Everybody knows somebody made a mistake. I got an apology from Jesse. I didn't get one from the Ski Loons. I don't hear him saying, oh, they're such a great organization. Where's that apology? I'll try to stick to the contract here. When you look at the contract that they have now, if they would have just followed that contract, we'd be fine. I'm going to look at 4D. The Ski Loons shall be considerate of the neighbors and their riparian rights at all times. I don't think that happens. I don't think the 4 nights needs to be moved to 2 nights. The reason I went to 2 nights is there are some people that live on the lake, and I think that they have the right to ski on Rice Lake, the people that live there. But I also think the people that live on other lakes should go practice on their lakes a couple times and spread it out. So while I'm okay with a couple practices, I think they need to go to the middle of the lake. They need to turn the dock and not go down the side of the lake, go down the middle of the lake. They were nice enough to give me a GPS of their location of where they ski. I don't see the middle of the lake. I see the 2 shorelines. I sent those both to you. The true middle of the lake, towards the island, away from homeowners, in and out, and I don't think people have a problem. I'd also like to see, instead of on section E where it says safe distance, I'd like to see it 150 feet from another boat. I'd like to see it 250 feet from shore. I'd like to put an actual footage to that. I really don't want to see the buoys, the yellow buoys, on either side. I want to see them go to the center of the lake. When they want to do their practice, and I did talk to Matt, and I said, you know what, you can move the docks back the day before the show, that whatever that practice becomes, and then you can practice that day the right direction. Do your thing, come the other way, there's another day you can come along the shoreline, other than the practices. So I think that's a fair looking at it. Section F, the Ski Loon shall endeavor to pull skiers from the docks perpendicular to the shoreline away from private properties. I'd like to see somebody show me where that's happened. I'd like to take out where it says is feasible, and I'd like to put in the words towards the center of the lake. And that would cure this problem. I understand it's a circle. They may have to go out and put a buoy to know when to turn around and come back. They may, it's not my problem to fix it. I'm just saying that will alleviate the problem with the neighbors. I do think there's probably a way to work it out. I do think that some of the things they've done aren't working with the neighbors. I'm spending money on shorelines. I'm spending money on lawyer bills. I don't think that's very neighborly. They want to work with you. I don't think that's really doing it the right way. I have talked to some of them, and I think there's probably a way to work this out, but I do think it has to be towards the center of the lake and get them off the shoreline. And I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, Wayne.
Gabe Johnson, 1501 Rosewood Street. Hello, esteemed members of the Park Board, and also Mayor Bedell. I like the contract. I think it looks good. I'd like to see it adopted. I'd like to see the ski loons stay in Brainerd and on Lum Park. Thank you.
I'm a little different than everyone else. I'm Shane Hardy, 12654 Nobleford Drive in Baxter, but I am a lake homeowner over and around lake. I've seen people talk that are for the ski loons, part of the ski loons. I've heard homeowners talk. So I have no skin in the game. I heard business owners that are making money off of it. I have no skin in the game. I'm just a concerned citizen as a lake homeowner. We have people that's been doing it 9 years, 5 years, 3 years, so obviously it's growing. Is there a limit? Maybe you wouldn't have to price long if you didn't keep growing and growing, but maybe that's a good thing. But eventually it's going to go, you're going to need 6 hours of practice because you've got 400 skiers instead of 200 or instead of 25. There's got to be a limit somewhere. You can't just keep growing on a small lake. I have no skin in the game. That's just what I've heard. I've heard a lot of complaints. But to me, if it's growing so much, when's it going to stop? Are you going to put a limit on how many skiers, how many boats are going to be part of ski loons? I think that's something you should think about.
Chris Stenz, Brainerd Ski Loons. I live at 4784 Gull Lake Dam Road in Brainerd. Just wanted to get a few things out there. With the ski loons, again, we really are here to listen tonight. And I have written down a lot of notes and comments that we really would love to come back and be able to discuss with the city, however you guys go about negotiating contracts with the other parties, if it's through the city administrator or through a special meeting where ski representatives and the ski park board representatives can sit down and hash some of this out. That is what we're here for. Some of the things I wanted to clarify for things that I heard, just so that, again, it's on the record and the public has the ability to be aware of that. Just running down the list, people asked about driving down to the lake. We had talked to the park board about that and basically had been told that if we had specific equipment that needed to be transported down, that we had permission to be able to drive down there. We do not take advantage of that, but when we're transporting the docks and the ropes and set up for shows is the main time that we have things drive down there because there's lots of coolers and equipment, but we do take that very seriously and we try to minimize our driving down to the lake, but we did get the permission from the park board to be able to drive down when we do. We also wanted to clarify that when we practice, it's usually from like 6 to 9 o'clock at the latest. We only can ski past a half hour at sunset, so we are not out there 4 or 5 hours a day. It would be pitch black, and those are not legal skiing hours. Through the years, we have tried to garner a relationship with people in the committee, or with the Lake Association, and a couple years ago, we implemented a community liaison, asking people who were concerned citizens to be able to reach out to us. There are a few people that spoke tonight, and there's a gentleman I spoke with beforehand that said, we just want to sit down and talk. And I am here to let them know that we are here and we are ready to sit and listen. We have a community liaison that was published. We promoted that if anyone had feedback, please come and talk to us. One of the most difficult things is when you know there's problems going on, but no one brings anything up to us that we don't have the ability to address those concerns. And again, we're reaching out to the lake associations to be able to ask for that feedback and ask that communication. As an example of such, we had a meet and greet that we tried to promote and sent to the whole Rice Lake Association last spring to say, come and meet with our drivers and talk with them if you have concerns or want to know things. So the ski loons are doing those kind of things. Wayne talked about apology for the August 19th. I just want to touch base on that. And I do want to say we are sorry that this event happened. it was a big miscommunication where we were told something that, looking at after the fact, we believe was untrue and was not in the intention of the park board to grant us permission to be there. But after talking with the city's officials, we clarified 3 times, and even after we had received communication from Wayne that we weren't allowed to be there, the city clarified that they were fine with it. We would not have gone forward with that practice if that wasn't there. So I am sorry, because that led to a lot of this confrontation, and it was by no means our intention to escalate anything, and we would not have been there if we had received any indication from the city or from the board that it was not allowed on that day. We were not trying to go out with our contract. That is the communication we received, and we are very sorry that that happened. It was nothing that we had control over. That is the information, and I believe you guys have all seen those emails. I don't know if they were published, but if for clarity, I can send you those again. You guys can decide if you would like to have those disclosed about the communication that we were sent on that August 19th date. We are trying not to go back and rehash out the past. We really just want to have a safe environment, and we do value the relationship with the park board and the ability to be at that location. We feel it is great for everyone involved, and the ski loons are committed 100% to being able to meet and sit down with people and meet at a lot of these things. We are still brainstorming as the ski loons. You know, a lot of the top things that I think are some logistical issues is about getting those things to the center of the lake. Wayne held up those patterns of the show patterns, and with those, right now we have a dock that has a 90-degree angle on it, and you have to go off one side or the other. And we have a long side and short side. And in order to get further away from the neighbors, that changed the angle of our dock so that you could go straight out into the lake, but then you'd have to be closer to the neighbors here, or you could go over this way, and then you'd have to be further away. But from an actual pole, it has to be straight off one perpendicular line to the other. We've been brainstorming building a different dock. And I truly think if we build a different dock and get it the right shape, again, it's going to cost probably $10,000 to get the type of the dock that we have. But I think we have the community support, and I do think that's one potential solution, because we would love nothing more than be able to have a dock to go off of, the right direction for the shows, and get something where it's the right angle where we can go off into the lake. And I think that we can build something that will find a mutual ground for that. It's going to take a lot of legwork, and they talked about repositioning the dock. Every year we put it in, we take it out. It takes a couple hours where we get 30 people on it to bring chains in and anchor this post. It is not a quick and easy thing to move, and that has been one of the logistical challenges. But I think my deceased grandpa used to say, if it's a problem and money can fix it, it's not that big of a problem. You got your health stuff, you got your other things that can't be fixed by that. But if it's a matter of fundraising and getting support so that we can build the right stuff, we do see a lot of potentials here. Again, we've put a lot of time and effort into the contract that you see before you, and we'd be happy to discuss it. It is a first stepping point. It is not a hard line. It is not anything like that. We just want to be able to have those conversations and move forward with the ski loons in the city talking to finalize that, and I think that'd be a great way to go. Thank you for your time.
Hello, my name is Trevor Harding. I live in East Skull Lake. I have a business at 417th 8th Avenue Northeast in Brainerd. I think the Ski Loons are overall a great organization for what they do and letting the kids do that. And just what's on top of my mind, Chris had said that money fixes problems. One of the ways in which money fixes problems in this case is suing private residents over the Ski Loons. And I don't think that's what a not-for-profit should do. When the Ski Loons started, we'd go to my brother Wayne's house, we'd watch the shows, everyone was excited about it. Now we can't use Wayne's house. It's unusable in front of his dock. Kids can't swim on the rafts. And I'm not there every day, but we've quit going there during the week. And so since 2015, this has been going on. I live on a lake. I live on Gull Lake in Steamboat Bay. I wonder what Mattins would do if they ran in front of their shoreline every day. In front of my shoreline, I would do exactly what Wayne's doing. You have the right to fish. You have the right to be on the lake. It's not being utilized. The park board discontinued their contract, is my understanding, correct? So it's not a modification, it's a renewal of a contract. Why would a contract be renewed? Go to a different lake. Many people in this group live on lakes. Go to your own dock and do it. Rotate every year. Rotate every 3 years. Find a resort to do performances where the public can watch it. Maybe that is Lum Park, but you know, this is an organization who says they want to communicate, but they file lawsuits. They say that they'll make changes, but I've been watching for 10 years, 8 years, whatever it is, since 15, and there have been no changes. So I'm just curious how that's going to change now. We're in a public hearing. I don't understand. As a business owner, I want as much in the public possible. I think the ski lanes is great. I think the basketball association is great. They have to practice in a public gym. This is a public park, and I get that. But I think it's time for change. If the shows, maybe. I think the residents of Rice Lake should get a break, and it should go somewhere else on a different lake. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else for the public hearing?
Hey guys, thanks for having us here. Chris Lamke, I really don't have any. I don't ski with the ski loons. I don't live on the lake. I do see a lot of benefit of ski loons. A lot that they have integrity, perseverance, and actually some of my kids, I asked them if they wanted to come up. They came up with some of those words of what they'd seen. I provide music for ski loons. I volunteer my time. Every event that I do out there, I could charge them $3,000, $4,000 for what production I do. I don't. And I don't get any feedback from anybody else on, hey, you can have this or you can do this on that aspect for any additional jobs. Because I run music and I do it quite often. With that being said, excuse me. With that being said, I've seen the ski loons grow. And yes, people are saying they're really large or getting really large. It's really neat to see. It's a huge organization that benefits the community as a whole. I know the gentleman that was just before me said he was a business owner. He absolutely loves the fact that the ski loons brings business to the area. It's a great thing. As far as Lum Park goes, it's about the only reason that I go to Lum Park is for an event. There's no other real attraction. I mean, as far as things that go on in the lake, my son is in a fishing league. They go out on that lake and they speedboats, 70 miles an hour, 80 miles an hour running across. You can't tell me that those don't throw wakes. And if you're going to limit one set of organizations, you got to do it for everybody. That's the whole thing. Thanks.
Thank you.
If I will be allowed to speak just very briefly for a second time, just to lay some clarity to the restraining order that is out there.
It's, yeah, not necessarily part of the hearing, so I would prefer you did not. Anybody else with comments or concerns on the contract?
Hi, my name is Catherine Plessner. I have an address on Trout Lake, and I have an address in St. Paul. And first of all, I just want to say, what a great community. It's so a privilege to be here and hear all of you talk. I testify at the St. Paul City Council, and it's not always so friendly. I'm a grandma, and not of a ski loon, but of a, it's called the, oh my gosh, St. Paul, or the Twin Cities River Rats Water Ski Performance Team. And so I have two things to say. My grandchildren, I have four of them, and our son, they come up and perform with the loons, and they just think it's so wonderful, and it is great, and I can't say enough about how your children are going to turn out that work there, because mine are like, woo, that wasn't my call. So I really appreciate that. And living on a lake, I will say that the ski boats, what are those big boats that, surf boats, thank you, honey. Every lake has a problem, and so I'm hoping and I'm confident that you people will be able to work this out, because it's a win-win situation for everyone. And really, it could be worse when you are on a lake where there's nothing but those big boats. So thank you, and thanks for the time, and thanks everyone for being so wonderful.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nicole Atwater. I'm a young conservationist. I was part of the conservation team that went out to survey the land of the homeowners that are affected by the serious erosion that is going on for shoreline restoration. The undercutting I've seen firsthand is detrimental. It is insane. And it's really sad to see, as being in Minnesota, land of the 10,000 lakes. We're supposed to be really proud of our lakes. And seeing what's going on, talking to the landowners who said, year after year, we have reached out to the ski loons, and their viewpoint has been completely disregarded. It is really sad to see that homeowners now have to pay upwards of $10,000, $15,000 for shoreline restoration, that the damage that they did not cause. It is very sad to see. I, myself, as a conservationist, I'm proud to partake in water sports, but there's got to be a line. It's really sad to see, like I said. I hope a resolution can be solved peacefully from both sides, but this is shoreline land. It takes a long time to hammer in mallets, to put in core logs, to put in willow wattle, and people that go out and take the time to talk to people who are affected by this. They spent their money, their hard-earned money. Their family takes time on this property. It's fun to watch the ski loons, I agree. It's great, but how close is too close? Because if you don't believe me, go look at the undercutting. It's there. So I really hope something peacefully can be made, but the landowners have reached out to the ski loons year after year, and their viewpoint is disregarded. And I think that speaks volumes, unfortunately. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other folks for the hearing? We will do a going once, going twice, and we will close the public hearing at 5:06. I really, really, really appreciate everybody coming in, providing their feedback. This actually was really awesome to see a lot of folks with a lot of passion. So really, really, really appreciate everyone turning out and giving us the information. Oh, 3-minute recess. All right. We're going to take a 3-minute recess. Radical. Thanks. Nice.
Only if you're left.
Yep, let everyone file out. Yeah.
Is there any other ski and stuff that's going to be discussed as far as next steps, or is that for a different date?
The next.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, yeah. So we won't do that. All right, recess is over. Let us resume. I think final comments on the ski loons discussion item was just to direct staff to compile the feedback, and then we will continue our work on crafting some sort of contract to bring back to the board for vote. So let's just compile the feedback and work on the crafting of that. So then we will move on to item 8B now, the approved event application for Arts in the Park.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So attached to the item is the Arts in the Park application for the 2024 year. I'll let the mayor kind of talk a little bit about the details of this year's event.
Dave Bedell, Executive Director, Brainerd Community Action, 321 South 7th Street, Suite 105. Yeah, before you guys, just the standard application for our Arts in the Park event at Gregory Park. Everything is basically shown as being the same as in previous years. I know there's been some discussion about what that might look like. At this point, we're progressing the same way that we have in previous years. Now that we have the construction done on those streets there, that should allow us for better access, and especially for the handicap individuals. We like to try and keep everything on the spokes of the sidewalk for accessibility purposes, and so that is shown once again. We envision size-wise to be probably about the size that we had last year. We, at some point, are going to cap it in terms of the size of and the amount of artists that are available. Gregory Park is only so big. And we're also very interested in making sure that the artists that do attend are successful. It's a fundraiser for us. However, we're only successful if the artists and the vendors are successful as well. So in terms of what we allow at the show, it is driven by small businesses and entrepreneurs. We have a cap on what people are allowed to sell. We're not allowed to sell things that are pre-made. We want handcrafted items or items over handcrafted quality. That obviously has changed over the last handful of years. You know, everybody can get a laser printer now, so you see a lot more stuff including that. But as a designer, design is art. So we're really excited to see where things are going to go. And again, Community Corner presented there as well. There were the classic cars last year. That moved back to the north side of the park, and I believe that was a recommendation from those actual car users. But what we're looking for is just approval of the design and layout so that we can move forward with placing our applicants in. The envelopes are coming. They're already on their way. I got a stack of them on my desk already. So we just want to make sure that we can get approval from you guys to move forward. And if you have any questions, I am here.
Any questions for the mayor?
Executive Director.
Executive Director of Brainerd Community Action.
The hat has been.
Yes, I apologize.
Surprised you didn't see.
Yeah.
Dave, I'm wondering about, so the classic cars, they're moved, so they're not parking in the center of the park. So are they on the grass still, or are they kind of maybe off the grass?
So we still have them located on the grass. They are the only vehicles that are allowed to stay within the park. Those vehicles are traditionally, prior to my starting of this, they had located themselves kind of in that pine tree area. It was a request from them last year, and I will just say that just kind of happened, that that's where they located themselves. More so it's to get themselves into the shade, out of the sun. However, the access point on the lower end of the street there is an easy access, and so location could be located there. That's where we have shown it. However, just based off of their feedback, they were placing themselves closer to the arch.
So this is the fountain, so it's right next to the fountain, right?
I would say where it says Community Corner there, that's where they ended up last year.
Oh, yeah, that was last year.
Yeah.
But now this year, they're coming by the fountain, or?
I would be open to feedback on that. Personally, I have no skin in that game in terms of what is the best location for them. It's a great addition. We really appreciate it. It actually brings a large group of people, and it's really cool to see. I personally, I consider that art as well. It is people that are very passionate about the way these things look, and they're immaculate, far more immaculate than one's own vehicle. However, I have them placed just on that lower region there, based off of their feedback, where it says community corner may potentially be the location of that, but we'd be open to that for sure. If that's the case with the redesigning of 7th, Jesse? 7th Street? Is that on the east side of the park? The right side, yeah. East side, yeah. Yep. So that has been redesigned there, so there is access there as well. Previously, that was just a single sidewalk. Now it has been split into two, more like what is at the Arch as well.
I think there's even a curb cut halfway up 7th.
Yeah, yep.
And then I was just wondering about the food trucks, and then I'm just wanting to us to, like, what was our rule on food trucks inside? Because we didn't want to have fire trucks. You know, like, or we talked about that, or per whatever. So, like, the food vendors are all food trucks, right?
Yeah, most of the food trucks that we have is truck and trailer. The largest one, I believe, came and set them in and then pulled out. So there was one that was a little bit larger, but not fire truck size. They came, set the 2 units down. I believe it was corn dogs, cheese curds. They're 2 little units that get set down, and then that vehicle removes itself, which is the requirement we have for our artists. They are not allowed to leave any vehicles in the park. And that is a strict rule that we have actually discontinued one of our artists due to that.
So they'll be using like the carts and everything to bring all their stuff in too?
So the food truck vendors, we would be requesting the same as previous years.
Or like the other artists? Sorry, I'm kind of.
Yeah, the other artists, so they currently pull in, drop their stuff, pull out. And the access points are essentially, as the day goes, it gets very, very busy. And so we have specific groups are directed from specific locations. I believe all of the corners now have curb cuts. Most of them do, yeah.
Any other questions for the Executive Director of Brainerd Community Action?
Just in terms of when the artists are driving in to drop stuff, are there community action staff kind of guiding them where to go, making sure that people in the park aren't?
Yeah, it's chaos. I will say that is the most stressful part of our day. We start at 6 a.m. and you would like to see people that show up at 6 a.m. and you do see people that show at 6 a.m. You do, as we get closer to 9 o'clock, which is when they're directed to be done, pulling their vehicles back out, it does become hectic. The issue is because they're all putting up tents. So as soon as all the tents are up, you essentially have an access point that is within that triangle. So each one of them is directed to come in and out within that triangle. We do have staff that is there for that. It's chaos. I will just say that. I will be very upfront. It's chaos for about an hour, but it is a controlled chaos for the most part. Get a squirrely one every once in a while. But they are directed to have vehicles out by 9 o'clock so that the event that starts at 10, everything is squared away.
Very good. Any further discussion on the event application for Arts in the Park? Alrighty, we'll be looking for a motion to approve the event application for Arts in the Park.
Make a motion to approve this application for Arts in the Park.
I will second.
Alrighty, motion and a second. Any further discussion on the application? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Moving on to 8C, the approved for the Center 2024 performances in the park. Mr. Dean.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So included in the packet for your review, a letter from Dan Barry from the center regarding the performances in the park and the proposal for 2024 performances on Thursdays for the majority of the summer. The letter summarizes kind of the events as well as the attendance from last year's. And they're looking for an approval to go ahead and move forward with the performances in the park for Thursdays again in 2024. And I'll leave it if Deanne Barry has anything further to add on this.
Alrighty. Any questions for Deanne or Jesse on the event approval? No. Alrighty. Hearing none, we'll be looking for a motion to approve this event.
Move to approve.
Second.
All right, motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and pose same sign. That is approved. We'll move on to 8D, the Easter egg hunt event at Gregory Park. Mr. Dean.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm going to pass it right over to Haley, our recreation specialist, to talk a little bit about the event.
So attached is information about our 2024 Easter egg hunt. In the past, it's been held at Gregory Park. We're hoping to hold it at Gregory Park again on Saturday, March 30th at 10 a.m. We have events kind of starting around 9:15 with taking photos with the Easter Bunny. The Rotary Club has joined with us again this year to help facilitate this event. We're requesting direction regarding the location of the 2024 Easter egg hunt.
Very good. I still like it at Gregory Park, as I did with the Great Pumpkin Festival, but we do know that Memorial Park did work out very well for the movement of that event. So I still like it at Gregory Park, but if there's any other feedback, or maybe we could just kind of look to the future and have a general idea of, you know, how we'd like to scooch it around in years to come. I have no issue with that either, but I think Gregory Park's a great home.
Do you think the point that the triangles make dividing by age groups really easy? That seems like a reason the park is a good fit, and not just because it's the default park.
Yeah.
So I think that makes sense to me too. Like that many little kids looking for sugar, you need some organization. So I think Gregory makes sense to me.
All right. Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, to follow up with that, as a parent of young children, the real advantage of Gregory and that spoke system is some years it snows. I don't know if you're aware, we live in Minnesota. Sometimes there's nothing but snow. And as a parent, it's very nice to stand on the sidewalk while my children trudge through the snow and get wet. My shoes, dry. Their shoes, soaking wet.
Yeah, I also agree that this is a good fit for this event.
All right. Well, I mean, with the comments, any other footwear?
I choose to wear shoes of a hardy nature.
Hardy.
For the Lord's sake.
Excellent description. Any further discussion on the Easter egg hunt? Hearing none, we'll have a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the Easter egg hunt at Gregory Park. Do we need a motion?
That was my question.
Yeah.
Do you need a motion?
I'd like the direction from the park board if that's through a motion, please.
I'll make a motion to keep the Easter egg hunt at Gregory Park this year.
I will second that.
All right. Motion and a second. Any further discussion on the Easter egg hunt? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. The Easter egg hunt is approved. Moving on to the approval of food delivery at Memorial Park. Mr. Dean.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So we were approached by a group of people that they order some food delivery. It's delivered by semi. There's roughly about 35 cars that pick it up from the semi. Right now they do this distribution over at Bethany, and they're starting to overgrow their space. So they reached out and requested if they could potentially use the west parking lot over Memorial Park. Roughly it's a half hour to 45 minutes to do it, and they're looking at once a month. They just wanted some approval to go ahead and do that once a month. I did inform them that, future plans could include a potential skate park that would impact the usability of that space, but, so they are aware of that when that, should that impact the operation.
Thank you, Mr. Dean. Any questions about the food delivery from Bethany Lutheran?
I'm just curious, is it like Second Harvest, or, what, is it an organization where people are picking up food and then delivering it to people who are in need, or is it just?
I'm not exactly sure on that detail of it. I know that they order it. I assumed it was by just a vendor, but I'm not sure exactly through the organization itself.
Matter. I was just curious. It's kind of random, but
Yeah, just a utilization of the parking lot, I guess, for whatever period of time. Obviously, we don't really necessarily have to even put any sort of restrictions on that. So, any further discussion on the food delivery? No?
Happy we found a use for that.
Yeah, exactly. The parking lot's getting used. Thank goodness. No, it's not a lot of cars in that parking lot. So, let's see. We need a motion to approve that, I believe. Yep. All right.
Move to approve.
second that.
All right. Motion and a second. Any further discussion on the food delivery truck at Memorial Park? Hearing none. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. That is approved. Moving on to the approving the letter of support for the Lum Park pedestrian bridge. Mr. Dean.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So if you remember last year, we did a feasibility study. We included a couple members of the park board as well as city council, and we reached out to a handful of different people. This winter, I guess, the city council authorized us to move forward with an LCCMR grant application. It's the same grant program that funded the Lyman P. White Park project. So we're looking at applying for that grant as well, and just looking for additional letters of support from different agencies and groups that we can include with that application, help strengthen the application. So we're requesting one from the park board.
Thank you, Jesse. I imagine you guys have read through it. So any comments on the letter of support?
Good job.
I didn't write it. Yeah, I did write it. Just kidding. Motion to approve is what we're looking for. Oh, yeah.
Jesse, how responsible is the park board for maintaining that bridge?
We will have probably, if it gets turned over to the state as part of the state trail system, our maintenance is going to be pretty limited outside of winter operations. So the DNR has made it pretty clear they don't do like snow clearing. So that would fall under kind of the same deal that our parks maintenance does, a lot of our trail system. So that would just fall under there. But other than that, as part of the state trail system, it falls under the DNR for maintenance.
Would we need new equipment for that? Like, I assume we can't take the things we use to clear trails in the parks over the bridge.
We would have it designed so we can make sure that that wouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor.
I believe the name of said device is Broom Goes the Dynamite, so.
Broom?
I believe as designated by the wonderful public of Brainerd, Broom Goes the Dynamite should be able to access that area.
I didn't know there was a naming competition for that.
I didn't either.
Yeah,
The community engagement has been unbelievable.
I don't think he has an endless shelf life, so the next time around.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might have a shot nominating.
If you want to.
Yeah, okay.
We'll be looking for a motion to approve the letter in support.
Second.
Second. Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. The letter is approved, and we'll move on to the 2024 tree plantings, Mr. Dean.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Bringing up the $25,000 capital budget item for the park board for tree planting in the parks. We are bringing back some of the recommendations that Community Development Director Kronvik presented last year for some tree replacement over at Lum. If you remember, we moved from Lum and did more tree planting in Memorial, Gregory, and JC's as part of 2023's budget. So for 2024, we want to look at Lum again. We lost a significant amount during the storms in 2022, and with the discovery of the emerald ash borer in Brainerd, looking at different inventories, there are a good amount of ash trees in Lum Park that would have to be addressed. So we're feeling that the $25,000 we could utilize in Lum to replace a lot of the lost trees as well as some of the ash trees that are going to be in tough shape. So that would be our recommendation.
Thank you, Jesse. Any comments on the tree plantings for this year?
Would we get, or would we be able to pick where they go? Like, this is just getting a sense of how many trees we could get with 25,000.
It would be, so we had to pay for roughly about $1,000 per tree. Now it varies based on the type of tree, but it's somewhere in the realm of $1,000 per tree. So we're talking about roughly 2 dozen. We would look at the master plan and make sure that we're placing them appropriately in areas that don't have future potential plans for programming or anything like that.
Another question. Does the cost per tree go up if we don't let the vendor drive a truck through the park to water them?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not loving that with the plantings. I'm glad we have the trees, but like going forward, I would change it.
My assumption is yes, but I can't answer that. That would be a vendor discussion. Making it more difficult for them to be able to access those areas, that would be a challenge for them to maintain. So I would assume that the cost would go up, but I can't say that for sure.
Yeah, very good point. Yeah.
Still tire tracks in Gregory, but I like trees too.
Yeah, trees, tire tracks. A match made in heaven.
Love trees. Yeah. It is a big truck, though. I was surprised at how large that truck is.
It's the big one. Any further comments on or questions for Jesse on the tree planting?
Oh, I guess this is maybe related. Is there any mitigation we need to find funding for the ash trees we do have? I know it's sort of not related to this, but
Community Development Director Kramvik and I will be crafting an updated tree policy that addresses ash borer throughout town.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, just noticed last year you were working with James on the placement of the trees. Are we working with James again?
Yep, correct. And as well as the selection of species.
Yeah, love it.
Any additional comments or questions for Jesse on the tree planting? We will be looking for a motion to approve the tree plantings, I believe.
Yep.
Move to approve.
Can we add, though, that we want to ask about the driving through was that just insinuated, that we'd ask about, for real, asking about driving through the park with the big truck? Was that a legit thing that you, yeah. Can we add that to the motion?
If that's the direction you'd like to take, let me know.
I would move to approve the planting while asking staff to get quotes for non-truck based maintenance.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on that? I think that's a great addition. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. We are planting trees. We're moving on to the Mills Field fencing quote. Jesse, give us some good news.
I do have some good news. So, as you may remember, we had $50,000 budgeted for fence replacement and relocation. I believe the original thought was the $50,000 was going to get that first base field fence and the outfield fence. In discussing with a couple of the vendors, we found out that for the $50,000, we were going to be able to replace all of the fencing around Mills Field with underneath the $50,000 budget. So our recommendation would be to go ahead and move forward with the quote from Oberg to replace all of the fencing around Mills Field with the 8-foot chain link fence, as well as the bottom rail for additional security and protection of the fence.
Thank you, Jesse. Comments, questions, or concerns on the sweet, sweet deal we're getting on fencing? Mr. Mayor.
This includes moving it, correct?
Correct. The first base field will slide in roughly about the same distance as the third base field or third base fence distance from the line.
I'm just forgetting because, you know, we talk about a lot of things, but it was obviously in our budget, but this is a necessity for softball season. Is that, can I just be a little bit reminded about it?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
This is a necessity. I know it was part of the budget, but I'm just like, is the fence falling apart? I want to be reminded of this.
We do have a lot of damaged sections that are like missing like the top half of the fence. A lot of the other sections are in actually pretty poor shape right now. There is a very short section that's actually in okay shape, but for the most part, most of it is in really rough shape.
Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, we did an assessment of this last summer, and sadly, the issue with the way that fence is built being wood, the paint alone for it is astronomical in price. And what we found is that a lot of the posts that are holding it up, so it's not just the wood panels that would need to be replaced, it was very expensive. The posts that are holding it up as well, a lot of those have failed. So there's a section where the wind came through and blew a portion of it down, which we are unable to put back up because those fence posts have failed. So not the entire thing has gotten to that point, but moving forward, cost-wise, it's just going to become something that is very expensive to maintain in wood.
Thank you.
Any further questions or comments or concerns on the fencing quotes? Hearing none, Jesse.
Mr. Chair, I'd also like to mention, as maybe as appropriate as part of this item, we did get approached by the Public Works Association for Minnesota. They are holding their conference up here this spring in early May. This would be a good opportunity once the fence is redone that they could do some additional volunteer work with repainting some of our facilities as well as potentially planting some additional trees along that first base fence line. We would coordinate with the contractor to ensure that that work happens ahead of that, if that's so what you'd like to do.
Thank you, Jesse. Yeah, very good idea. Cool. Yeah. So with that, we'll look for a motion to approve the fencing quote from Oberg Fencing per staff direction.
So moved.
Seconded.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. We're putting up a fence. Moving on to letter I, approve of the self-service kayak rental details. Jesse.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So we kind of prefaced this at the last meeting is that we would need to make some decisions before we get the self-service kayak rental equipment set up and installed in the park. So a few things included in your packet that we would like some discussion on or direction from is, I'll first start with location. We're recommending that it would be placed adjacent to what's going to be the new sidewalk that extends from the one that goes down to the fishing pier. And I kind of drew it up in there, where the new sidewalk potentially would go that goes to the lower beach. This is intentional to be along this area specifically to try and guide people to launch their kayaks towards the beach area rather than trying to compete at the boat ramp with the motorized boats. And we feel like we can do this pretty easily with coordinating with the construction project. The second item is rental fees. In your cost recovery model that they used as the presentation, they had an average rental of $25 for 2 hours. Based on that, we would recommend a rental fee of $15 an hour, and I did include a comparison of probably 20 of the nearest ones to us of what their rates are for rental. So that's where we base some of our recommendation on for that. Another decision to be made would be on memberships, whether to provide them or offer them. They really can be about whatever we want. You can make it a certain dollar amount and it gives a certain discount. So I got a couple examples here. If you pay $75 a year, you get the 100% off your rental. There's another one where you could do $50 per year and you get half off the rental. So there's a few different ways to craft this. We would recommend offering a membership of $75 per year, and then that would kind of cover your rental fees for the year. And then finally, what we would stock the kiosk with. If you remember, there was a little bit of flexibility on what you could put into it. There are 4 stalls, I guess you want to call them. You could do 4 kayaks. You could replace some with paddle boards. We're recommending 3 kayaks and 1 paddle board. And I would look for some direction from the park board on some of these items.
Thank you, Jesse. Appreciate all the research into this. Questions for Jesse? Comments?
Yeah.
Mr. Scheit?
I think the research is great. First of all, being in Olmsted County where it's 25 cents a minute, it sounds really stressful when you're on especially anything with a current. No, thank you. Yeah, I think the pricing and the location are both great. It's a good start to see how this goes, and we can reevaluate. Would the memberships auto-renew, or would they be just 12 months from the purchase date, and then they have to re-up their membership next year?
I believe they have to re-up. I'd have to clarify that with Rent.Fund how that would work, but my assumption is they would have to pay for each year, or physically go in there and buy the membership each year.
Cool. That was the thing. Right. If we want to raise prices on a membership, if it auto renews, then we have like a Netflix situation where you've got 5 tiers of pricing, and cool.
Correct.
Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, talk me through how the membership works.
So what you could do is, Rent.Fund offers a membership as well. I think that's a blanket membership over everywhere. But you can offer a membership to those. So let's say in the recommendation, $75 per year at 100% discount. So if I paid $100 or the $75 per year, I could go in as a member and rent that kayak at essentially no cost beyond the $75, and I could use it every day for the rest of the summer if I wanted to, and it wouldn't cost me any more. You can also craft it as $50 per year and a 50% discount. So if I pay my $50 per year as a member and I get the $50 discount or 50% discount, then I would get half rate rental fees throughout the year. So a little bit of different ways you can craft those memberships, but it's just another different type of option for people if maybe they're a local resident and expect to use the service more often.
Yeah, I like the idea of a membership. The only problem is that at 100%, there's no incentive to return the actual kayak.
Well, they have to. Yeah,
But do they, though?
Well, I would imagine they'd have to. I mean,
to?
there's got to be some sort of terms and conditions for the.
You got to put it back in there.
Got to put it back in at some point in the evening.
That would be my only concern with it is.
I just want.
Somebody could hypothetically for $100 have the kayak all day, every day. There's only 4 of them. That would be my only concern with that. Would just be, I'm not saying someone's going to do that, but you never know. You never know what somebody's capable of with for $100. It doesn't seem like a terrible idea.
Great deal.
The mayor could be out on Rice Lake kayaking nonstop.
Yeah, I actually want the membership. I think personally because I want to see the utilization of this to be as high as it possibly can. We can reassess later if, the kayaks are taken out. Maybe we can build a bigger cage or get a bigger cage, or change the way that the membership works after that year. But I want to see these things get used badly, so I prefer the membership as well. I think the rates are good. I think the inventory is right. I like the location, and I think I'd like to do the 100% discount.
Yeah, I'm kind of was thinking the same way Dave is, though, because there's no, I wasn't thinking about them stealing it, but there's no reason for them to take it or to bring it back. So what if we're busy Saturday and they're like, well, I have the membership, I can use it all day. Where if there's only 4, so I'd rather have it be an issue where someone's coming to a public forum saying, I really want to rent a kayak, but I can't because, we don't have enough. I'd rather have that feedback than maybe make $75 but I don't know. I guess that's because I want to have the most amount of people be able to use our 4 vehicles or whatever, kayaks and paddleboards.
Yeah, hypothetically, and again, this isn't going to happen, but hypothetically, we could make $100, $400. 4 people pay $100, and then those 4 people always have the kayaks. That is a possibility with that model, which seems a little weird to me.
Do they have to come back overnight, Jesse?
How do you?
Yes, by law, and that's something that we have in the hours of operation is a sunset to sunrise or sunrise to sunset hours of operation. You can't operate after sunset without the lights, so they won't be able to do overnight or anything like that. But we have talked about the potential for theft and stuff like that. So they do have a daily person that would check in and make sure that everything's in order. I believe daily is what they implied. So their intention is to have somebody check on the kiosk every day to make sure everything is in order. So there's some level of check-in from there. And they obviously, you have to put in your credit card in the app when you do these reservations. So it does track that as well. So from the theft side, that there's some recourse there.
I was also curious about, do you have to have a QR code? I guess I don't remember that from before. So what if you don't have a smartphone and you want to rent? This is just one of those things. You have to be techie, right?
You would have to have their app
no
to be able to
other way.
unlock the kiosk.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't remember that part. This will be good for our community, for people who have never learned how to use a QR code. I'm joking, but I'm serious. Some people don't know, so this will be good.
I'm resistant too, so.
You're resistant?
I am, yeah. Just give me a menu.
Yeah.
You know?
I did have one other thing. So are we going to have any of our branding on it? So I know, like, it is a rent dot, but are we going to have, like, any branding, or is it just their branding?
So there will be a sign on the side of the kiosk that'll talk about rules and how to do the rental, as well as a QR code that'll bring you to the website. Our logo will also be on that sign.
Okay.
Any more questions for Jesse on the kayak rental? I know we do have to kind of boogie here a bit, but.
Sorry.
No, that's all right.
So you're thinking more like some price and you get a discount? It's not 100% for the season?
Well, the season's like 4 months, right? Is this going to be like when we open the bathrooms, kind of like, so April to October?
Yeah, give or take. Yep. Obviously, we would make it unavailable when the conditions aren't appropriate. But you can kayak for quite a while into the season.
So I think I'm hearing no membership and just the hourly rate suggested, and then the inventory and placements, right?
That's kind of what I'm personally thinking,
Okay.
maybe for the first year.
Sure.
Let's see what kind of demand we have, and I don't know, but that, again, is my opinion.
I like it.
And I think I'd like to see one paddleboard too, like what you had written. I would support that, yeah.
Inventory's good.
Yeah, you said inventory, sorry.
Yeah, I love the idea of a membership. I personally, for $75, I would gladly have a membership for this. I think it's a great idea. Because you don't have to lug around a kayak then. That's the other part.
It's a great value.
It's a great value.
Yep.
But I just would be concerned about, and we do also want people to be able to use it.
Yeah.
And there is potential. Not saying it would happen, but people like to take advantage of things.
I mean, I would at $75, but. All right, so, yeah. No, go ahead.
The membership of $50 a year and a 50% discount, though.
Take a stab at that.
A membership, there's still an incentive.
That does solve that.
To
Sure.
return it. And Jesse, do we get stats from them, or can we have stats like at the end of the season of hours rented and memberships purchased?
We can pull that report at any time. So we could potentially include them in park board packets as a report, if that's what you want.
That would be great. Especially first year, just
to kind of watch it happen. So I think we're hearing, we like the rates, we like the inventory, we want to do the 50% discount for $50 a year, and we like the location. Is that what I'm? I'm getting.
If somebody steals one, will we know? I mean, like, we'll be, so one goes missing because Andrew was like, I'm going on a kayak trip. So then that night, when we pull the report, we'll be like, oh, Andrew has it. Let's go get it. Or do we know? If whoever was the last person, obviously, would be the one that would be connected to that kayak.
I would leave that to their staff person that's going to be checking the kiosk in the next
So they're
day.
coming, they're a Brainerd local staff?
That's their intent, is they want to hire somebody from the local area that'll be able to check that every day. And
bringing jobs.
I believe they intended that they would advertise that position on Indeed if they're not already advertising the position.
Very cool.
Well, I didn't remember that part, guys. Did you?
No.
Okay.
I just thought, yeah, there'd be some out-of-towners swinging by to
Well,
take a gander at it once in a while.
Haley or something. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Oh, yeah. I think, yeah, I remember they had their own staff, but yeah, I wasn't sure it was a moderately part-time position or seasonal or something like that. So, alrighty. So, a motion to approve the rates and inventory and placement is what we're looking for.
I would move to approve the location as specified by Jesse, rental fees as specified by Jesse, and to offer membership of $50 per year for a 50% discount. And to have 3 kayaks, 1 paddleboard.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? No. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. We've got kayaks. Letter J, request forming work group to develop a 30-year Parks capital plan. Jesse.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I'll be pretty quick about it. Last year, we were blessed that the park board spent a lot of time out in our parks to collect the asset inventory, and we have the spreadsheet included in the packet. What we really want to do is start organizing this into a 30-year plan to develop a long-term budget for the capital. So I'd request at least 1 or 2 members of the park board to assist us with crafting this 30-year plan that we could present to the park board for formal approval and then presentation to the city council for long-term budgeting.
Thank you, Jesse. Any immediate volunteers for this work group?
This sounds fun.
I'd like to.
I'm going to regret saying that. I'm a spreadsheet enthusiast.
Very good. So we have our 1. I will commit my time to this as well, as maybe a supporting character of this cast. So, yeah, I think we can pull it off. Do we need a motion?
Nope. I will coordinate with you on dates and times at work.
Very good.
Is 2 of us a quorum now?
Yeah, that's for 1 or 2. 1 to 2 members of the park board. So
You were 4, so 2 is not a quorum yet.
You're still not a quorum.
Oh, because there's only 4 of us.
Oh, right. Interesting. Alrighty, so moving on to the public forum, time allocated for citizens to bring matters not on the agenda to the attention of the board. Anybody for the public forum? We'll open it up at 5:54. Going once, going twice, and sold on the public forum. We'll close the public forum at 5:54 and 14 seconds and move on to staff reports.
So pond hockey was unfortunately really short this season because of the weather. Our skating party got canceled. We did have Smooch-a-Pooch event. We have some photos listed there. We started softball registration today. And I am trying to get donations for the parks events. And so far I've gotten 11.
Awesome.
And I know you guys have the report, both maintenance as well as projects, so I'm not going to highlight all those. I know we're tight on time, but if you have any other questions, like I mentioned, we were approached by the Public Works Association. They wanted to do a volunteer project in our community for kind of disadvantaged areas. We thought with the fence work, that would be a really good thing for them to help us out with, is doing some repainting there as well as planting a line of trees along that first base line. So we'll reach out to that group and let them know that that's kind of what we're thinking, and as long as they're good with that, we'll plan for that. I think it's early May is when that date of that conference is. And with that, if there's any other questions.
Any questions of staff?
Can you elaborate on the soapbox cars? Like, are these full-size downhill things or like the Boy Scout little down the track things?
No, they're pretty large. So we used to have soapbox derby races in town, and we have, oh gosh, there's probably about 20 of them in the cold storage now. They've just obviously kind of sat there in the maintenance building since we stopped doing them. So we've kind of held on to them since then. But yeah.
I'd like to propose a park board fundraiser where we put the mayor in one and send him down the Hitchwain Hill.
Did you pick that after he left on purpose?
Yeah, after he's gone. Yeah, yeah. Who could say? Any further questions of staff? No. We will move on to board member reports. I guess we start with me, right? I think just for me, I again, for anyone out there listening, I do really appreciate everyone's time and effort on the ski loon side of things. Again, I think a lot of people believe that something can be done, and I really appreciate everyone's hard work and making this conversation a little bit more constructive as we've moved forward in the last couple of months. And there's a lot of committed people to this, and again, I still firmly believe that this board is very capable of being mediators and finding a way to weed through everything and find a great compromise. So, but otherwise, park stuff, all the great events coming up soon. Kind of a bummer on all the weather this season with the rinks not really all that usable for the entire season, but we're starting to cool off again. But that is it for me.
Only thing for me, I kind of lost track of the Buster Park gazebo thing, but I'm excited to see that come together this spring. The old one was rough, so it'll be really cool. That's all I got.
I don't have anything.
I would move to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say